Pixar is one of, if not the most, critically acclaimed and beloved animation studios working in the game. And they know that for a fact too. Because do you know what Pixar actually stands for? Pretty, immaculate, and really great movies. Xylophone. And now I know that I'm stating the obvious. Like saying that Pixar is really good at making movies is like saying sand is located at the beach. Like it's common knowledge at this point because Pixar is so great at just popping out animation bangers that kids will just love and adore, and it will make grown adult men cry like little babies. What's that, Uncle Billy? You're gonna cry? I don't know, do your taxes maybe. Then you can cry, okay? You're sobbing all over the remote. This is disgusting. And the prime time of Pixar's movie-making career was in the early 2000s because they were popping out animation bangers. And throughout these years, I feel like there's one movie that has gone overshadowed by Pixar's other masterpieces. WALL-E. And the reason I feel like this is because compared to the other films, WALL-E's simplistic approach seems way less creative and original than Pixar's other work. Because it's not something crazy and unique like a rat being a secret chef or a completely functioning monster society, but a robot finding love. But if we take a look at it, I feel like WALL-E, based on the execution, is Pixar's most creative and unique film. And I think some people forget about that. And that's why I'm here talking about WALL-E, Pixar's overlooked masterpiece. Thinking outside the box is a term that most likely you're familiar with. Basically what it means is that you're thinking unconventionally or more creatively with your ideas, and that's exactly what I think WALL-E basically is, and that's what the director Andrew Stanton proves. Because Andrew Stanton takes the basic just storytelling methods that we've seen in a lot of movies and a lot of Pixar movies and just strips it down and strips this movie down to the basics of cinema, which is the visuals, aka the most important part of a movie. Because aside from little like WALL-E buzzes and chirps and the live action President Man doing some monologues, the first 22 minutes of WALL-E, it's basically dialogue-less. There's no dialogue. 22 minutes. That's like a whole Simpsons episode. And the first 22 minutes of this movie is integral to the whole movie because you have to set up what this world is, what's going on, who is this WALL-E, who is this WALL-E, who is this WALL-E, tell me, who is this WALL-E? And that's exactly what is accomplished in these first 22 minutes. It's even more than that. They give us way more than what we expected because the stylistic choices in this whole movie is great, but in the first 22 minutes, it's also great, yeah. Because if we look at other post-apocalyptic movies from down the road, they all start out very like bleak and dark. And that's what WALL-E does. We do have opening shots of that. But what WALL-E does is during these bleak and just kind of depressing looking shots of Earth, we listen to the 1969 upbeat song, Put On Your Sunday Clothes. And this way of putting up upbeat poppy music during depressing scenes, either if it's done for like an action scene or just to contradict what's taking place, it can come off as kind of gimmicky at times. But the thing is with this song is that it's not just played for this one time, but it's played throughout the entire movie as it serves purpose to WALL-E as a character, so it has actual meaning and purpose rather than it's funny, right? Because it's a happy song in a depressing looking place. And throughout these whole opening sequences, Andrew Stanton perfectly uses the show don't tell rule of storytelling because we're just shown what has happened to Earth, and we do kind of get like the live action President Man like kind of telling us, but other than that, like it's very easy to piece together what has happened even for a child, because due to the great world building that we get, the animators put like a lot of cool details not only with the outside landscapes but also with the inside, because the details in WALL-E's place just adds so much character, and we learn about WALL-E, and we learn that he's a little hoarder. That's right. TLC, come in here. Look at this. WALL-E, bro. What? Look at it. Bro, look at all this trash, bro. What is it? WALL-E, what is this?
Hey, yo, don't be dissing my stuff. Cause some of it is useful, bruh.
Oh, some of this is gonna be useful? Okay. Explain this. A $20 Dairy Queen gift card from 400 years ago.
Sheesh, I just haven't had the time to grab a nice soft serve. Cause those be bustin' no cap, son.
WALL-E, Dairy Queen doesn't exist anymore, okay?
And now, our feature presentation.
And not only does the world feel so lived in due to the great visuals from the animation, but because of the sound. Because there's just a lot of great sound design in these opening shots, just like the atmosphere that it creates with the echoey, like by and large music, as well as just like the quiet little squeaks of WALL-E's tires. And what I've realized after my 40th rewatch of WALL-E is that WALL-E is literally the most Studio Ghibli film that Pixar will ever produce. And now, if you're not familiar with Studio Ghibli, it's an animation studio created by 3 Japanese dudes in 1985, one of them being one of the most beloved directors from the company, popping out just animation bangers. And just like WALL-E, the worlds that Studio Ghibli creates are really fantasy-like places, but due to the great attention to detail in the animation and the sound design, make these places feel just believable and real rather than extremely far-fetched. And these places are just so insane. Like, you thought WALL-E was like crazy weird. Oh, there's fat people on chairs. It's in the future. No. Studio Ghibli movies are so crazy, and they hate their main characters so much that they will turn them either like extremely old, or they'll just be like, yeah, your parents are now pigs. Go save the day now. What? And this topic of the great sound design from Miyazaki's movies has been talked about a bunch. Captain Christian did a great video on it, so definitely check that one out. And I don't want to be stepping on what other people have said before, but what I mainly want to focus about the sound design in both these movies is how it's not only added for great atmosphere, but it's also added for non-speaking characters to make them feel real and more distinct. Because one of Miyazaki's films, My Neighbor Totoro, we have this giant teddy bear-like thing named Totoro. And if they just added like basic like gibberish like some movies, then Totoro, you wouldn't really like connect with this character at all. But instead they make Totoro feel like an actual character by adding kind of like sounds that are similar to what you think it would sound like, as well as creating their own little like spin on it. And Pixar and Miyazaki do this greatly, not only with the main characters of the film, but also like extremely insignificant and minor characters, because you literally care about a cockroach. Is it a talking cockroach? Is it a magic cockroach? No. It's literally a teeny tiny little itty bitty roach. Yeah, it's a cockroach. Well, I don't know why you think I was going to say. And I can guarantee you that when you thought this cockroach died, a little part of you died as well. Because they use great sounds to this character rather than just basic cockroach noises to make him seem like this adorable little cockroach. But while we're on the subject of the sound design, we have to bring up who, in fact, is making these sounds, not only for the world, but for these characters. And that's the man, Bert. Here he is, guys. Yeah. Give it up. Give a round of applause for him. Oh, look at him go. Woo. And not only is Bert 10 inches tall, but he is the sound designer of some of the most iconic sounds in film history. He's the man behind this. And this one. And also this one. But not this one.
My name's Mater.
And WALL-E director Andrew Stanton was like, hey, I want to make WALL-E sound pretty cool. So why don't we just call up the guy who literally made R2-D2 an icon? And the rest is history, with WALL-E being one of the most iconic robots in film history now. And the reason behind that is because of the great sounds that Bert used to create emotion for WALL-E, because it's possible to just recognize emotion from WALL-E's design alone, because what they did with WALL-E's design, Andrew Stanton was looking through some binoculars and was twisting them, and it's like, hey, these look like eyes, and if you do this and this, they can look sad or happy, and you see that throughout the whole entire film. But the thing is, if WALL-E was 100% mute, you couldn't tell this story, and you couldn't show WALL-E's range of emotion. And if WALL-E was 100% mute, how are we going to know what he's thinking? Like, what's going to happen if WALL-E wants to order, like, a pizza? Yes, hello, this is Little Caesars. Is anyone on the phone? Yeah, I'm not hearing anything. So I guess they don't want a extra large deep dish pepperoni pizza for $11.99 from Little Caesars hot and ready. Even if it was like a robot on the call, like I would like be able to determine from the beeps and boops, maybe trying to like code it or understand it. But you know, I guess we can't do that. And yes, I know pizza doesn't exist in this world, and I should be dead. And this was just a hypothetical. I was just playing a part. You got pranked. WALL-E actually doesn't know how to use a phone, and I've been crying for 7 days straight. And just like how I said about displaying emotion from the eyes, Bert uses sound to create emotion from WALL-E's beeps and boops. Because Bert uses like little high-pitched sounds to create fear as well. They kind of pitch up and down the voice of WALL-E when he's just in awe and amazement, which is just great because they make WALL-E feel more human. Which is kind of ironic because WALL-E displays way more emotion than the actual humans aboard the Axion. And I haven't even talked about the Axion. Now, if you don't know about the Axion, let me see how many times I can say the Axion. It's this ship where all the fat people go. It's a ship where the people went and then they got fat, okay? Just want to clear that up. And Jeff from Curb Your Enthusiasm is like, what's up, guys? What's going on here? We're supposed to go back to Earth, apparently? Or we were? What's up? Whoa. We're getting a little too ahead of ourselves. Let's go back. Point is, Axion makes cool sounds. Bert is responsible for these cool sounds. And because of these cool sounds, the Axion doesn't sound like a basic sci-fi ship. And this whole time I've talked about these sounds being distinct and unique. And this is great, not only to make these characters feel more believable and tangible in this universe, but also to differentiate themselves from the other characters, because WALL-E is obviously a romance film about him and Eve. Whoa. I can hear you guys in the comments, I know. What? It's about him and Eve? I thought he was gay for the plant. I don't know why I said he was gay for a plant. Like, plants don't have genders. And I don't think anyone could be sexually, like, attracted to a plant. Dendrophilia literally means love of trees, in which people are sexually attracted to or sexually aroused by trees. I'ma walk out. But guys, WALL-E, let's confirm it. WALL-E is not in love with a plant. He's actually in love with... And if we look at this movie and boil it down, it is basically a futuristic Titanic because, yep, that's right. WALL-E is my guy, Leo DiCaprio. Eve is Rose, because we have the poor boy who is broke and he's just kind of optimistic though. And then we have this rich girl who, in the eyes of the male protagonist, is like absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And I must spend my life with this person. Please. I'm desperate. And because both our main protagonists are robots who come from kind of different upbringings and they're programmed differently, the sounds play a good part into this because it shows the differences in these characters.
Be sure next mealtime to ask for your free Septuacentennial cupcake in a cup.
This is the part of the video where we talk about the humans, the fat humans that are on their chairs, they don't move. And some people have criticized this part of the movie for not being up to standard with the first 22 to 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I'm just making up numbers. I forget. But I think this part still works because tonally it's still the same and is still great. And WALL-E is still the forefront of the film. And this guy carries the film too. Like, my guy simultaneously is saving the world as well as possibly getting a date. Do you see how smooth this guy is? Literally, he's booping and beeping at Eve for 3 minutes or less. And then a sandstorm comes and he's like, all right, let's go to my place. Let me show you some crusty spoons and a Rubik's Cube. And the thing that I really like about WALL-E and respect from WALL-E is that it doesn't portray the two sides like distinctly good or distinctly bad. And like all the other environmental films that we have, like the Lorax, it's like, yeah, I'm the Onceler. I'm actually like literally the worst person in the world. It's capitalism, baby. Frick you. I want the money. What's great about WALL-E, like I said, there's no like distinctly good or bad side, because the robots, you might think, oh, they're bad, right? As a kid, I kind of thought like, oh, the good guys, the good humans, they're revolting against, the robots, right? But if you look into it, the robots are just programmed to do what they're supposed to by the humans. And this kind of comes into play with the homage that it has to 2001 A Space Odyssey, Stanley Kubrick's film, and his character from the movie Hal. Because Hal goes rogue and kind of goes against the humans because Dave's like, hey man, just open the pod bay doors. And Hal's like, nah, I can read lips now. But Otto, the captain's kind of like second in command robot guy, he doesn't like go rogue or like, well, I'm gonna stop this. He's just programmed to do what he's supposed to keep them on the ship, because there's no actual plan for them to go back, even if there was a plan. And even if this portion of the film is slightly weaker than the great opening that we got, there's still so much to love in this film. Like, the captain in the film, played by Jeff from Curb Your Enthusiasm, is still a good character and is interesting because you see the impact that WALL-E has on him and changes him and the other humans as well. As well, in this part, we get the best scene in the film. That's right, the scene where they're kind of like dancing in space. Because accompanying this scene, we got this great, beautiful score, and the animation is just beautiful. And then the rest of the movie, we got WALL-E, and he's, it's kind of the rest of the movie is mission to save the plant. We got WALL-E, he's going through some like garbage chutes, and then we find out that there's also like giant WALL-Es, which are called WALL-As. So I'm thinking, like, is there WALL-Is, WALL-Us, WALL-Os? And then Otto and the captain are, they're having this battle. But, oh no, they're about to die, possibly. Because as Otto and the captain are fighting, the whole ship rolls and, whoa, it's going upside down. All the humans are about to die. But thankfully, in the end, it's all great for the humans. Did I say robots? No, I did not. Because that's right, WALL-E, his memory, it's all gone. Like I said throughout the whole video of how WALL-E is a character that you care about and connect with due to the great design of this character and the great sound design, it all comes into play in this part of the movie at the end, because we care more about if WALL-E is not going to be WALL-E anymore, more than the fact that, oh yeah, the rest of humanity in this movie might die. Because throughout this whole entire movie, we see how WALL-E acts and his goals and his wants. And then we learn that, oh, that might be all gone for him. But thankfully it's not. And WALL-E's like, yo, what up, guys? It's your boy, I'm back. And that's WALL-E. It's a great movie. It's a great Pixar movie. And I think people love this movie, definitely. It's not something that's underrated or, oh, people don't understand the real societal meanings of WALL-E. I just want to talk about how great and attention to detail that they put into this movie. And I think people are just kind of overlooking that fact. And hopefully you like this video. The last green screen vid did big numbers, and we got a lot of subs, so that's pretty cool. So I'm going to try to make more of these if you guys like them, and I also want to keep on doing my old stuff. I hope you're enjoying the style. I want to keep it going. and improve it. Yeah, subscribe maybe. I don't know. Do you want to? No one's forcing you to. Okay? Calm down.